Hi, my name is Wolfstone. I'm actually a streamer here in the League of Legends community. I stream on Twitch. I'm actually going to talk today. I'm going to create my first video. It's going to be talking about building your champion, what not to do in ranked, as well as what to do in ranked, as far as building your kit, building your item sets, and all that stuff, and actually making sure that you understand the mechanics of your champion, why you do the things you do, why you build the certain items that you build, and we're going to be going over everything from scratch. So I hope you guys like the video. And if you don't, I'm sorry, I take feedback. So the first thing we're going to start off with right now is you are not Cloud9. You're not amazing. You're not the most spectacular. You're not God's gift to the world. Okay. You're not the most you're not the next superstar or rock star. I'm talking about the 99% of the people that play this game. Yes, of course, there's going to be exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, a lot of us are just, average players. We're not the best in the world. We're not going to be, the next superstars. We're probably not going to be joining an Ecclesia team that actually goes to Worlds somehow, and most likely we're not going to be on that stage. But keep the dreams alive. I don't knock it. Do you do everything you can do. And if you actually do make it to that point, I applaud you. And I say that because, it takes a lot of time, effort, and input to actually get better and to excel at the game and actually get on that level. It takes a huge amount of focus. It takes a huge amount of, devotion and dedication. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing feeling when you have that kind of success. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people go on tantrums, and what I mean by that is you have a lot of individuals who, when they actually start playing, okay, they think that they're going to be the next Zed god. They think that their Zed is absolutely amazing and it's their best champion. They've been playing it over and over again, and maybe they saw something on the League of Legends esports, and they're like, oh man, that's a really good champion. I never even thought Zed would have been amazing. Or maybe you're like, I want to be the next Bad Life. But when you go into a League of Legends game and you're actually in the lobby and you're thinking, okay, these guys don't know, but I've been practicing this champion a lot. I really want to play him. Please, for the love of God, don't take a champion that you don't have any experience with, because this is all I hear. And I'm not joking about this. This is it. Just stop. Stop. Let's just not go there, okay? Even worse, you think you're absolutely amazing, and you are so confident with this new champion that you just picked up that you want to take him straight into ranked. You've only played a couple games with him. This is how I feel about that. It's just as troll as this song. And I'm telling you, people have heard this 1,000 times over. It's been done to death, and I just can't. Just stop. Stop doing it, okay? You're driving me crazy, okay? You drive me freaking insane, okay? Stop it with the kitty tantrums, all right? Stop it. Relax. Calm down, all right? So, what we're going to be going over is actually how to build your champion. And we're going to be talking about item sets. We're going to be talking about builds. We're going to be talking about where you should be getting your builds. And also, we're going to be talking about the things that the people do in the game, in actual live games on the stage, is going to be situational every single time. There's always that one particular item that you actually get pretty much universally across the board, but for the most part you have different builds for every single situation. I'm going to explain that in a second. So first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to show you a couple places where you can actually look up some builds. Now, I'm not saying these are definitively the best builds and this is what you should base your champion off of and all that stuff. No, absolutely not. I think that you should actually do your research into your champion. You should look at what the pros are doing. You should look at what standard people are doing across the board that aren't on that stage. And then you should actually invest the time to develop your own build and kind of get a really true understanding of that champion, why you build them that way, and then situational builds depending on the circumstances. So a couple of places that you can actually look up a build is pro builds. And I say this because this is where I would go for my first step, just to see, kind of get an idea of what they're building on the stage. And the reason why I say that is because you want to see exactly what they're building so that you can cross-check that with builds that you're looking up on this next site, which I'm about to show you in a second. the most important thing is when you actually go in to look at this, don't take this to heart because, like I said before, you're going to have different builds for every single circumstance and every single situation, and there's only going to be maybe one or two items that you get universally across the board. So this next site is actually called Mobafire. This is what I use to actually go through and look at guides and actually research. A lot of people have written some really in-depth guides. Now the reason why we're doing Riven today is because, ladies and gentlemen, I had a Riven in my last game, which was a horrible experience actually. And this Riven went 878 thought that she was God's gift to the world and that everybody should bow down and just worship the Riven. No. You're not Jesus. You're not Jesus. You're not Buddha. Okay? You're not God's gift to the world. I don't know who put that idea in your head. But first off, her build was a little odd. It was like, It was just a little odd. Additionally, the way that she was playing the champion was a little off. Her mechanics weren't very good. Her basic mechanics weren't very good. She wasn't really positioning properly. She wasn't engaging at the right times. I mean, we've seen it. We can beat that to a dead horse. So you've seen that hundreds of times, right? Somebody that's not necessarily performing their best. It's okay. It happens. Okay? It's not a big deal. You have a bad game. Everybody has a bad game. Relax. Cool down. Just calm down. It'll be fine. All right? But don't take your bad game and carry it over. And another thing is, this is a separate topic, by the way, don't play a champion that you're not 100% confident with, mechanically with, build-wise, everything, matchups, counter picks that they're going to have against you that are going to be like root fundamentally against your kit. Like, don't go into a game unless you actually have a truly intricate understanding of how you should be, what your thought process is, and all four of those things. But if we look at here, we got all kinds of builds. Okay, you got dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens. It goes on and on and on. There's like 82 pages of builds for Riven. Okay, first off, make sure it's actually up to date. The reason why is because a lot of these people actually invest a lot of time and effort into making sure that their guides are actually up to date and they're taking into account both the most recent patches and the changes that were made during those patches to that champion, or the patches that made champions like the opposing champions or picking champions. Let me readjust that. So that, like, you want to make sure that your build that you're going to be basing your information off of is up to date. It goes over all the patches, all the reworks, everything for both your champion and other champions that are actually a threat to you. That's what I was trying to say. So we're just going to pick the top one just so I can actually show you what we're looking at. So when you actually go through, you're going to see a few things. Now, your most important information is going to be the first things that you see. Your runes and masteries, your build order, and then your abilities. So you got those four things. Runes, masteries, build order, and your choice of abilities and the way you actually boot up. And what I mean by boot up is you don't want to start with your E if you should be starting with your Q because it offers more damage initially as well as an escape. With Riven, that's what that is. So Riven actually has an ability called Broken Wings. Okay, now what this does is XYZ blah 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 blah. I'm pretty sure everybody that's actually seen this is, understands. But the whole point is Broken Wings, you use it 3 times. You can use it as an escape, you can use it as an engagement. It does a significant amount of damage. It has some AoE effects that you can use against creeps to actually help with your CSing. So like that versus your dash, which just gives you a shield. Now situationally you might actually want to start your dash first. But most of the time I would go with the Q. And a lot of champions you should go with the Q on the first go. That's where a lot of your damage comes from. That's usually your first ability, which is your Q, is going to be the highest damage output. But what you're going to do is you're actually going to go through and you're going to look at this build, and you're going to do this for 5 builds. You're going to do this for all these different builds. You don't just stop here. You look at all of them, okay? And the reason why you do that is because the builds are going to change from person to person that made that build, and there's going to be certain like things that they alter from one build to the other. Now, most importantly, you gotta read. I know people don't like to read, but you gotta read. You gotta read this stuff. You gotta read it because they explain why the champion's good, not good, with the pros and cons. They explain how exactly their champions work, how they scale, what, like if they scale AD or AP, or if they're hybrid, which scales harder. You're gonna be you gotta actually go through, and they'll explain exactly why you want to take the runes and masteries that you're taking, and then you're gonna actually go through the skill order. You're gonna figure out why you're actually maxing your Q versus your E or your W, and then on top of that, you actually will have an intricate and detailed matchup, like counter matchup explanation for every single one of the matchups that you have. Now, that's if you find a really good guide. Like, this is a pretty thorough guide, which is awesome. So it'll talk to you about. It'll tell you about laning, it'll tell you about grouping, it'll tell you about team fighting, it'll tell you about when to split push, when not to split push, what the capabilities of your champion are, what the strengths and weaknesses are, and it'll go through and it'll go ham. It'll give you all the information you possibly could need. And the most important thing is, don't just take your word, like this one person's word on it. Go up to the next one. Go ahead and open up the next build. Let's look up Cosm's top lane Riven. Okay, so you take Cosm's build, right, and you go through and you are meticulous. You study it. You figure it out. Okay, why? Like, if this build is different from the other one, what's the reasoning behind Cosm's build versus the other guy's build? And then once you do that, you start to build your champion. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a custom build for that champion. And what that means is you're going to go through here and you're going to make sure that you have runes set up for that champion. So we'll just go to this one. So we're going to go ahead and delete this. We'll make Riven. Alright, and then what you're going to do, return everything. Okay, you're starting fresh. It's clean slate. You don't want to like go in depth on it. Like you really don't want to like linger or keep anything. You just if you're starting a new champion, you're starting to learn a new champion, purge everything from your runes and masteries. Start completely fresh. So we're just going to take this build for its word. We're just going to go straight into it, just for explanation. Just for time's sakes. So the first thing he does is he gets damage, right? So you put the damage in there for your marks. You get your seals of armor. So we got that. Boom, glyphs, magic resist, 3 magic resist, and you have scaling cooldown reduction. Don't have that. We'll take that instead. And then we have quintessence of damage. Boom. So that's your build right there, as far as your runes go. Okay, so you say that you got that all covered down. Let's say you have everything squared away, right? And then you go to your next list, okay? So this is also a Riven page. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through, you're going to make sure you do your research. Don't just do what I'm doing right now. Do your research and actually figure out what the best build is for your playstyle specifically, which is also important. And then go ahead and fill it in, get it all set up, like such. And boom, save it. Now this is awesome. Okay, what you're gonna do, instead of just going to, let's say, like, instead of just going, okay, just random, this is an excellent tool that will help you a lot. So what you're gonna do is you're actually gonna create an item set. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go item set Riven, and you're going to actually create a bunch of different blocks. And you go through and you have this build, right, that you pulled up, and you're actually looking at this build and you're following this build. You did your research, you know what you're supposed to be starting. And what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and just start putting it all together. Now, the most important thing here is make sure you don't forget the trinkets. I don't know why, but people forget trinkets. Make sure you put the trinkets in there, because that's just a pain in the butt. So always put both trinkets in there, no matter what. Okay. Now what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and put your health pots in, like so, and then whatever differences there are for each of the builds. So. In this build, we have a Duran's Blade. Another build that we actually have here is going to actually have you purchase the longsword first. So what that is going to do is it's just two separate builds depending on what your matchup is. I would actually even make a third build, a starting build, which would be a Duran's Shield. But that's just me. I like Duran's Shield as an item. It doesn't offer you really a lot. It doesn't offer you any damage, obviously, but it does offer you more survivability. So some people, when you're going up against a matchup where you want to avoid as much damage as possible because they out-sustain you or XYZ things, or you can't necessarily CS effectively because they're ranged, you're melee, you got to take those things into account and build accordingly. So after that, go ahead and put your core items in. Now this is really important, okay? This is crucial. The reason why is because you remember when I was talking in the beginning of the video, you have one or two core items that you build every single time. The reason why is because these items scale best with your champion. Don't forget them. So make sure you actually have your core items in there. That's super critical. It's super important. You can't just improvise and do whatever. You have to actually take into account that you're going to scale best with certain items in your bar. Like if you are Riven and you randomly decide to take an AP item, it's not going to scale, you're not going to do any damage, and it's going to be an absolutely useless item for you. Like Zonia's. What? No. Stop it. Stop that. Bad. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you have all the appropriate items that are pertinent to you, specifically the items that are pertinent to, like, that are actually core to your build. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and throw that in there. So we have a couple items that are actually crucial to her build specifically. We have the Ravenous Hydra. You have the Last Whisper. Let me find it. Where you at? Brutalizer's also in there, by the way. Where did you go, you ninja? Okay, there it is. Alright, so you have your Brutalizer, you have the Ravenous Hydra, and you have your Last Whisper. Those three items are core to Riven. And that's pretty much universal as far as I can see. And another thing, boots. Yeah, kind of a big deal. So boots, here's the thing. Please, pretty please, use cooldown reduction boots on Riven. It doesn't matter if the enemy champion that you're going against has amazing lockdown or is a huge threat and has a lot of 80 damage. Stop. Okay? There's a reason why you take the boost of lucidity. That's a significant cooldown reduction. 15% cooldown reduction. You got your runes and masteries give you an extra 5%. That's 20% cooldown reduction with boots alone. That's awesome. So after that, you're just going to go down the list. You're going to go ahead and fill in the rest. You know, the most important thing is to actually take into account this. You have verse AD, high AD. You have verse high AP. And you have verse mixed damage. The reason why is because if you are going to go hardcore parkour all in, like you're going to go all in on the AD carry, well, obviously the AD carry is going to be your primary target. You're going to be doing as much damage as possible, and hopefully you can kill them pretty quickly. So theoretically, you're going to be going in on like hardcore parkour on that AD carry. Why would you build armor? Might seem counterintuitive, but if you're actually going all in on the AD carry, that AD carry is going to be beeline the hell away from you. He's going to be trying to get the hell away from you. He doesn't want to die. But the AP carry is going to be like, oh, hell no. He just tried to go in on my brother? that. No. AP carry is going to focus you down along with the rest of the team. They're probably going to CC you like crazy. So if you have that, if you have that situation where you're going to be going straight in on the AD carry, then what you're going to want to do is actually build MR. Vice versa. If you want to focus down the let's say the AP carry, they have a lot of AD on their team, but you really want to get that AP carry because that AP carry has some really clutch plays with their Orianna and has that ball just charged up, or like Annie's just charging up my fireball. Like, no. Okay? You want to build that armor up. Because if you go in on that AP carry, we're assuming that you're actually going to kill that AP carry pretty quickly. So there's absolutely no reason in hell why you should be building MR if you're going to be focusing the AP. And the vice versa, like I said before, if you're going to be focused the AD, then you don't want to build armor, you want to build magic resist. Or did I say that backwards? If you're going for the AP carry, build armor. If you're going for the AD carry, build MR. Right? So that's the next thing that you want to do. Now, after that, what you're going to do, please, you're not Faker. Stop that. Stop it. Don't be dumb, okay? There's this beautiful thing called Team Builder. Okay? What you're going to do, stop taking your brand new champion who you think you are god at for some reason into a ranked game before you even have any general experience with that champion.
What is broken can be reforged.
Wow. Amazing. You can actually go top lane with your fighter using the build that you just built, right? And everything's set up perfectly the way you want it to be. And you're going to actually take that champion every time in the role and the lane that you want every time with the runes and the masteries and everything that you have set up every time. Because it's called Team Builder. Okay? Team Builder is the most amazing tool for losing, losing, yes. But, like, it's the most amazing tool for learning new champions. And the reason why is because you don't have to fight with people to get your role and to get your champion. And you don't have to worry about getting trolled or people flaming you because you're taking your champion in the jungle and usually it's supposed to be top lane and it's against the meta and all this other stuff. You can experiment all you want in Team Builder. It really is up to the team captain to actually be like, okay, I'll let it slide, or be like, oh, screw that, now Riven jungle, But the thing is, like, Team Builder is the #1 tool as far as learning new champions, and please, 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 please utilize it, okay? And the reason why I say that, like I said before, you get your role, you get your champion, you get, like, everything that you have like invested and set up for that champion, you have it all. It's all yours, okay? You get to do whatever you want to do, and you don't really have anybody to stop you. I mean, theoretically, you go into a team builder team, they're going to have you in the top lane, they're going to assume that you're going top lane. That's it. It ends at that point. There is no arguing, well, can we trade because I'm not really good with mid. No, they're practicing their champions as well in the roles that they're taking with those champions, with the builds that they've developed and everything else, to either test it out, learn new champions, or just because they want to play that champion in that role. So please take advantage of the Team Builder. Make sure that when you do your research and you actually go through and learn about these builds and stuff like that, read the guides. And the reason why I say that is because there's going to be information in there that will really, really help you. Like, for example, I just recently picked up Nautilus. I'm pretty good with him, but I'm not a god, okay? And cool thing about Nautilus, when you actually activate his W, you reset your auto attack. Did not know that. So that obviously helped out with my games. So that was actually learned from a peer of mine. A friend who's actually playing League of Legends as well, and he's actually a fellow streamer. He's an awesome guy. His name is Trolley Pulley, and he's the troll you can trust. I do believe I have a link on my Twitch. My Twitch is Wolfstone_gaming. And I hope you guys check both of them out because they're awesome. But there's, like, just to revamp on everything that we talked about, you're not Jesus. You're not white African space Jesus. I hope some of you get that reference. And the most important thing is take whatever champ you want to learn into team builder first. Make sure you're thorough with the guys that you're actually going through. Make sure that you build him properly, him or her, PC. And make sure that you are actually investing the time to learn that champion, learn the builds, and learn the matchups, the counters, and everything else. Because that's going to help you more than anything else. Like, you can go into ranked and you can completely bomb it. And you know what? Maybe you don't care, but you screw over everybody else in that game. Like, a perfect example is I saw somebody on the world stage, not going to name who, I'm pretty sure everybody knows, take Riven mid lane. Absolutely dominated, did really good. It was a clutch pick, pulled it out of his pocket, played really well and performed. Okay, somebody else took it, fed like 10 kills and completely threw the game, like mid-game, late game, because they didn't know how to position her and they didn't really understand the mechanics fully. Don't be that guy. Okay, just stop. Don't. All right, make sure that you are thorough with your research. Make sure you put the practice and the time in, and number one, above anything else, talk to somebody else that plays that champion. Because, yeah, you can research and look at all this other stuff, but something that's really actually awesome is, let's say there's somebody that actually Riven's main, and they're platinum or diamond or whatever they are. Pick their brains. Ask them. Talk to them. Figure out exactly the reason why they like that champion and why they're so successful in that champion. Don't be afraid to reach out to somebody to ask for help. Nobody ever in the history of mankind just woke up a genius, amazing success. At some point in time, they got help from somebody else. So make sure when you actually are learning a new champion, don't be afraid to reach out to ask somebody. Now, that'll be the end of my first video. It's really ratchet. It's probably kind of weird because I'm using a streaming program and scene switches and changes and all this other stuff. And well, I hope you enjoyed it. So, farewell, good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day, and treat everybody with respect and dignity, and have a good time.